Hello friends, I am Junior TV anchor Vivaan Goel. Welcome to yet another exciting and knowledge-filled session on KidzByte TV, an exclusive channel for students and by students. As a junior anchor, I've had the opportunity to interview many top celebrities, sports personalities, and industry leaders. But for me, this interview is going to be the most exciting. Do you know why? Because today, I will be interviewing an award winning educator with over 20 years of experience in leadership, school administration, educational management, and strategic planning. As the director of Podar Group of International Schools, undertaking the international curriculum and the founding principal of Podar International School, offering the IB and Cambridge programs, she has donned many hats. She is a governing board member of various schools in India and abroad. She is the vice president of the South Asian International Baccalaureate Schools Association. She is an inspirational teacher and a eloquent principal, a progressive leader, a passionate mentor, and a dynamic coach. As a leader and risk taker, she has won many awards and recognitions. To name a few, she has recently been awarded the prestigious Mahatma Gandhi Leadership Award for Outstanding Services in Education by Ms. Preet Kaur Gill, Member of Parliament UK at the House of Lords UK. Under her outstanding leadership, her school has secured a hat-trick in terms of Best School Award by Digital Learning, Hindustan Times and Education World. She has been bestowed with the Rajya Puraskar Award by Maharashtra State Government for selfless work done in the field of education, and the list is endless. I can go on and on and on, but I just can't wait to have her with us. So join me in welcoming Dr. Mrs. Vandana Lulla, who happens to be my school principal as well. Welcome to KidzByte TV channel, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Hi, Vivaan. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. It's a pleasure and honor to be in midst with you as a student and a young author and a TV anchor. Wow. I'm so proud of being with you this morning and getting all the lovely questions that you're going to be coming up with.
Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, it's an absolute honor for me to interview you. I am set with all my questions, so let's begin. When we think of a career in education, we usually think of teachers. But that's not necessarily true. There are individuals like yourself who help to elevate academic boards and standard of education. How did you start off on this path?
So it was one thing that was very clear, and I say this to everybody: do what you are passionate about, do what you love to do. And I'm very, very passionate about children. And if I have to make a difference to the society and the community, I need to start with those young children. So the very purpose of me being in this profession and being in the profession and being an educationist and being able to support millions of students was to get into education. And that's the reason why I got into education.
Wow, ma'am, that is truly an inspiring journey. So, ma'am, can you walk us through your role as director and principal of the Podar International School as well as the Podar Group of International Schools?
So I began my journey when I was very, very young. And I'm still young, of course, but I think I was the youngest principal in the field of education to head a school at, just immediately after completing my graduation. I did my bachelor's in arts, I did my master's in arts, and then I did my bachelor's in education, did my master's in education, and then went on to do my PhD in education. And immediately, while I finished my bachelor's in education, I was hardly around 22 years old, and I got into education. And very soon, when I got into education, I made a mark for myself that there was this school that told me we want to make sure that we change the entire outlook of the school and create some kind of different kind of education. And I first started with being with a local curriculum school, that is, of course, the national curriculum, the CBSE, ICSE, and the SSE. And then when I traveled around the world, I would see that children would question, children would debate, children would challenge. And when I look back at some of the schools in the country in India where children were very passive, they were not very active, they were not very kind of passive, active in kind of learning. There was no kind of debate in class and questioning in class. And then I felt, what is it that we need to bring to India that will change the complete dynamics of education? And then I realized that it was the curriculum. It was the curriculum that made a difference. So the schools around the world ran international curriculums which are more open, which are more inquiry based, which are more skill based, you know. They're not content heavy. We found that the Indian curriculum was very much content heavy, knowledge heavy, and very straight jacketed. That would not really make any future of the students. So I think that was one thing that really caught me, that how do you get children to question, to argue, to debate is only if you change the curriculum. And that's why 20 years back, I introduced the IB and the Cambridge curriculum, which is a very open framework, which actually gives more freedom to the children to question and to inquire and to find out and to research. So it's more student centric and it encourages the students to think. So it develops a lot of skills which are required. So it's a more concept and skill based curriculum in comparison with the normal Indian content based curriculum, which is very knowledge heavy. And so I began my journey as a school principal of Podar International School, started the IB and Cambridge School. However, I found that, okay, what after that? What with the children who cannot go abroad or cannot afford to go abroad, or there are some girls that who don't want to go abroad, some parents don't want to send their daughters abroad. Then I started the Podar World College, which is with University of London, London School of Economics. I brought that to India, to Mumbai. And so I signed an MOU with University of London, and I'm the Dean of Podar World College, where you can do your London School of Economics in Mumbai at Jew at Podar World College. So I moved from principal to dean. So I also have a role of a dean. And then I started more Cambridge schools of Podar. And so there we had 10 to 12 more Cambridge schools in the organization. So I took them over as director. So I have another hat as director. So I'm a director of a group of Podar schools. I'm the principal of the school that I sit on this chair on, where you study. But I have a very good leadership team, so they do a lot of work. I, of course, make sure that I have my hands on, but I'm also the Dean of Podar World College. And I worked as I've been invited by the Ministry of UAE to inspect schools in the UAE. So I travel quite often to inspect schools in the UAE as a KHD inspector. And I am a part of Council of International Schools, where I accredited schools around the world in Hong Kong, in China, in Indonesia. And I visit schools and we do the Council of International Schools accreditation. And I also write books. I've written books, but I've written English grammar books and I've written life skill books. So I enjoy the power of writing too, but that's a secret.
Wow, that is like so commendable. I'm sure it's not easy to handle so many responsibilities. You surely have amazing time management skills, ma'am. So, what has been a fulfilling moment for you in this role? An achievement that you are proud of, perhaps?
So I think the most fulfilling moment for anyone is, uh, for me, it's every day. It's not a single day that I feel is not fun for me, or it's not exciting for me, or it's not fulfilling. Because for me, I think if you very clearly have a goal in front of you, and you have different goals in front of you, and you have everything very clearly planned out for you, at the end of the day, it's fulfilling, because whatever you planned has happened. And whatever I dreamt, I love to dream, and all my dreams are written down. I write down, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to achieve, and it's end of the day is fulfilling for me every day. However, I must say, when I see my students who are in the top universities around the world, in University of Cambridge, I have students who have gone to Harvard, Warwick, Ivy League universities. That's fun. That's something that I feel very, very satisfying. That definitely they have been placed in some of the top universities, students who have topped in the world among 2.5 billion students, and also those who are now placed. I have a student who's working for Google, Sanam. I have a student who's working for Berkeley's. So I have a student around the world. I have students now working for various organizations. Also, students who are young entrepreneurs. I have a lot of students who have started their own entrepreneur, and that they're doing extremely well. So that's again very, very fulfilling, that they were with me when they were in PYP in the primary, and then they did IGCSE, and then they did IBDP and A levels, and then they went to University of London and did LSE, or they did any university. And today they are actually settled in life, and they to really achieve success. So I feel proud, and I think the biggest fulfilling moment is when you see your children successful. So I think my children who are successful, and all my children who are doing something in life, is very, very fulfilling for me.
Wow, ma'am, you're a source of inspiration for everyone around you, and I really hope to imbibe your qualities in me. So, learning obviously does not stop when you finish school. What is something fascinating that you've learned recently?
So for me, learning is just maybe trying out some new skills on your computer, on the internet, getting into any course. And I think what I'm really enjoying now is artificial intelligence. And I think that that's the in thing. You see a lot of platforms, or a lot of, I mean, anything that you do on your social media, you search anything on Google, how AI catches your data, and then you get a lot of stuff on that aspect. Life has become easier. You ask for something and you get 100 options. So I think I am enjoying the fact that how data is used, and I'm actually doing a research and trying to find out more. And I think artificial intelligence is really going to change the whole thought processes, and days to come, things will change drastically for us. So you want to, and I think also, kind of internet, how it has supported. You want to order food, it's on your mobile. You want to order clothes, it's on your mobile. Everything is at a click of a finger or a button, you can say. So I think technology is the in thing, and that's the future.
Yes, ma'am. Even I truly believe there's no age for learning because my grandparents also nowadays they try to shop with Amazon. They try to learn, how to use social media. And I believe that a person stops living the day he stops learning.
And for me, learning is every day. Learning has never ever stopped for me. I keep thinking how I can innovate more, how I can engage more, how I can create a difference in the in every student's life. So I have to learn every day. I have to read every day. So I was reading Peter Singer's book, Schools That Dance. I was reading another book of that talks about the uh, how the world would change, and there's so much given in that book that in the years to come, God knows what's going to happen. So when you read all these books, and you get a lot of inspiration, there's a great learning. So I don't sleep until I've not read 100 pages in the night. So for me, those 100 pages are great learning every night for me. And that's something that I practice every day.
Wow, ma'am, that's amazing. Even I love reading books.
Yeah.
So I read that you did your PhD in managing learning disabilities through technology. Why did you select this particular topic for your thesis?
So when I was teaching as a teacher, I found there was a student in my class, okay, uh, who would answer very well, but when it came to writing, he would not do well. And that was something that caught my attention. And I was very, very worried. When it comes to writing, he cannot write. But when it comes to answering in the class, he's the first one to raise his hand and he answers so well. So I actually started to investigate, find out, observe him. And then I was reading. This is nearly more than 20, 25 years back. I was reading a book that, like I said, I'm in a habit of reading books. I was just reading last week John Hattie's book on visible thinking, where he says what really matters in education, what pedagogies you should use. So, in the same way, I was reading a book, and in that book, there was a story about a child who had various issues and why he had those various issues. And I woke my husband up and said, "Oh my God, I think my this child in my class has this problem." He said, "Oh my God, if you say that to the mother, she may feel defensive. Nobody will like any parent will not like that. Oh, your child has this problem." However, I collected my guts and I spoke to that parent and I went deeper into the research. And then I did my whole kind of course on various factors that, you know, create these kind of learning disabilities for children. So I did a whole course on learning disability, on dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, and I found out that there are children who have this various issues. Then I deliberately worked with this child, and I had many such admissions. So if any school would reject any admissions, I would take those students in my school and I would work with them personally. So they had a report card of failure in all subjects. They would have all failed. And I would teach them the way they study, the way they learn. So they are visual learners, or they are kind of learners that learn through kinesthetic, or they are kind of able to learn better in different ways and different styles. So I adopted all those styles and they got distinction. So I worked with 300 children, some with learning disability, that is dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, and some who were hearing impaired, some were visually impaired. And I adopted their styles of learning and I worked with them. And that one child in my class actually, who was not able to write, inspired me to do a research on why do children not able to write, or why do children not able to perform or calculate. Went down to the level of doing research for nearly 5 years, and I wrote my thesis, and I finally completed my PhD in managing children with learning disabilities, uh, how to improve their performances. My research was on how to manage and improve the performances of the students who have various learning disabilities, whether it's dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, or any particular issue.
That's quite challenging, ma'am. I'm at a loss of words. You're such an inspirational person, ma'am.
Yeah. So people would say, my God, she's a person who gets failures to classroom and she works with them. But I used to say that it's great to teach a gifted kid The real teaching is when you teach a struggled child and you see that they've come and they all got a first class. I was in the Times of India newspaper first page. I'm talking about nearly 20 years back, that students got a distinction even though they came with a report card that clearly showed their failures in all the classes. And not the internal exam, it was a board exam. So it was marked externally. So I'm proud of my, uh, the kind of work that I did with the children. That's only because I'm very, very passionate. And for me, every child can. Doesn't matter if he's here, here, or here. Finally, he will get there. That doesn't matter. Some people reach here fast, some may take a little more time to reach, but finally they all will get there. So that's the clear vision that I have, that all children can perform. It's only about how we deal with them, how we teach them, what tools we use, how we actually cater to their learning styles.
Yes, ma'am, I love your dedication towards your students. So, can you give our young audience some more examples of how technology can help with disabilities?
So we use various artificial intelligence platforms like Century Tech, which allows students, whether they are at whatever levels, they can actually improve their uh, course, English, maths, and science concepts. If you are not doing well in a particular concept, you can move on to an easier. They're called nuggets. So you do one nugget, and then if you don't understand this, there are millions of nuggets below for a particular concept that you can work on, and it'll take you to a simpler nugget and still a simpler nugget. If you're a gifted child, it gives you a booster nugget and you can move up. So I think where education is concerned, whether it is any particular aspects of developing your skills or developing your concepts, I think AI is going to really make a big difference in the life of the children using various AI platforms. And of course, also STEAM that we talk about, robotics. That's another in thing with a lot of various coding and various softwares that are coming in that will help children to develop their thought processes, their problem solving, the logical thinking, to be able to create and build things, create products, build the prototype products. I think that's another in thing, and that's another future that I think in technology is going to take education to the other level.
That's interesting, ma'am. That's really interesting. So, you've also been a stronghold in introducing the use of iPads and 3D technology in classrooms. Can you elaborate more on why you think this decision was important back then?
So I think 20 years back, nobody knew what an iPad is or what technology is. When I started iPads in classroom, people were very amazed. But I always think that you have to be progressive in nature, or you're depriving the children for being progressive. If you as an institution or you as a leader do not believe in progress, how would the children progress? So my whole purpose in education is I'm always ahead of time. And that's why I started iPads in education many, many years ago. And people did not accept the whole fact that I bought iPads in school, paperless school, where a paperless school, all children have their iPads, everything is there on the. We also saved a lot of paper because we were not having textbooks, we were not having, of course, we were having notebooks to develop the handwriting, but all our question papers and all were saved. So our circulars were saved. So we were also actually saving environment, saving trees rather. But I was again featured in NDTV, a school principal that has forced parents to buy iPads. And I still laugh over it because I was always ahead of time. So it's okay. Sometimes when you're ahead of time, people don't accept the idea. Today, of course, they are I mean, at everybody's, every child has an iPad today and every parent has accepted it. But I, as a head of the school, felt that it's important 20 years back, because I felt that if I don't make a change, change will not happen. And I'm proud to say that I'm always leading a change in this country and this city. And being the first one, many others follow. So I'm glad that I made the first step and many followed me. So it benefited many students. But yes, because I knew the benefits of the same and how children were way beyond the teachers, and how fast they adopted to technology. Now you see the very fact we are online, and because of this COVID, teachers and students struggled. Many other schools struggled. However, our teachers and students did not struggle at all, because we began this journey years ago and we are doing online learning very effectively compared to many other schools in the world, in the country.
Yes, ma'am. Because of your past experiences, you certainly had an added advantage.
Yes.
So, what were the additional challenges you faced?
So I don't see any major challenges that uh, I have faced or we have faced where it comes to technology. Yes, in the beginning, we had to train the teachers, we had to change the mindset of the parents, we had to speak to the parents, we had to tell them the advantages. So there were some of these little things that needed to convey. Once you convey it right, it's not a challenge. Only if you don't believe in it the way you should believe in it. If you believe in something and you convey it in the right way and talk about how it benefits, you will never face any challenges. Yes, there were challenges in the beginning, only to make sure that everybody adapted to it very easily. But of course, students were the first ones to adopt it very easily.
So, how would you advise your students to unwind after a long day's work of studying, and how do you do so yourself?
So I jog, I swim, I walk, I make sure I spend some time with my family. The best thing for any student is to, of course, spend some time with your family. Make sure to unwind with a little bit of exercise, a little bit of walk, yoga, gym, anything that you can do, anything that you enjoy doing, anything that you're passionate about. Do what you enjoy. If you love reading, read. If you love swimming, swim. If you love playing football, play football. If you love cricket, play cricket. So have a hobby in life. You love to sing, you love to do play a musical instrument. So it all depends on what you enjoy. So I enjoy reading, so I read every night. I enjoy swimming, so I swim quite often. I enjoy jogging, so I jog every day. So what you enjoy to, uh, have some kind of a recreation, do that.
Yes, ma'am. My idea of relaxation would probably be reading books or writing my books and
Yeah.
playing with my parents. It just it doesn't feel like I've been working so much because I get relaxed totally and I'm
Yeah.
not
What you love to do, what relaxes you, you must do. For someone, playing a musical instrument relaxes. For someone, reading a book relaxes. For somebody, playing a football relaxes. So do what is good for you, what you enjoy, what your interest is, and what your passion is, what you love.
yes. So now let's have some fun with a rapid fire round. The only rule is that you're supposed to tell the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the following words. Are you ready, ma'am?
Sure, no problem. Tell me.
So the first word is online schooling,
Is breaking new grounds,
homework,
must not be given.
the IB board,
World education for global learners
technology,
is a boon if used effectively.
hobbies,
Reading
and giving back to the society.
is a motto of my life. And I must say, I think it's something that I'm very passionate about, and allows me to stay connected with humanity.
Yes, ma'am. So, well, that was great. Thank you for joining us today, ma'am. I really enjoyed interviewing you, and I'm sure our audience of students and their parents have also learned something new.
So thank you, Vivan, and I'm sure we look forward to having. I mean, it was really great to uh, be here with you in this
Thank you,
interview,
ma'am.
and the way you questioned me was really amazing. Well done, Vivan. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers, for watching this special interview. Don't forget to download the KidzByte app on Google Play Store for daily news and knowledge bites curated only for you. This is KidzByte TV and Vivaan Goel signing off. Take care and stay safe.